Hello and welcome to episode 56 of Into the Podcast. I'm your host, Sam, and I'm joined each and every week by the delicious Ryan Chittenden. Say hello, delicious Ryan Chittenden.
Hello, Sam.
Hello, you're looking very delicious.
Thank you. So are you.
Do you know what else is looking very delicious?
Go on, tell me.
These bloody snacks
I know.
we've got in front of
We've got
us.
a right feast in front of us today.
So, anyone that listened to last week knows that we spoke about Brad Pitt, and we clearly spoke about Brad Pitt for about 48 hours. So we've had to split the episode in half. So this is just a little intro from us, and then we're going to carry on with the chat from last week.
Yes.
So, and really the main reason we're doing this is because it's last week's episode. We can't do a snack of the week. So we had to do this just so we could fit a snack of the week in. Because one, we don't want to make you guys go without Drew Flanagan music.
Yes.
And we can't go a week without having fucking snacks.
Yeah, absolutely.
So we've got together solely just for snacks.
What better way to get
And pizza.
what better reason? Yeah.
Banging, isn't it?
Unbelievable.
So should we get Drew straight in then?
We're not messing about, are we?
Drew, sing us in, baby.
Here come Sam and Ryan, listen to them both speak. They've come 2 hours on with their pop culture critique. But are you even a nerd if you don't overread? So come on everybody, it's the snack of the week.
So Ryan, we are back to snacks from our beautiful, gorgeous listeners. So what have you brought with you this week, my friend?
I've brought a very tasty looking snack today.
It does look tasty.
You know that we are a big fan of the caramel.
Well, it hit number one spot for a while, didn't it?
It did. It was the caramel.
Oh, it's the
Caramac
Munchies.
Munchies. So Cadbury's do Caramilk, don't they? Which is their equivalent, because Caramac was Nestle.
I think it's Nestle, yeah.
Discontinued.
And what the fuck is that about?
Oh, it's honestly, I'm not over it yet.
Wankers.
Yeah, I know. Anyway, our good friend and dear listener, Rich, Mr. Rich Twiner.
Oh, Richie T. God,
Richie
this boy,
T.
he looks after us, doesn't he?
He does. He really does. He has brought us some Caramilk Crispy.
Now, I love caramilk. And I
Yeah.
also love a bit of crisp.
Me too. And it's a good old chocolate bar foot. So
Get this bad boy open and we'll
I feel
shove
like
it
this
in our face.
I'm hoping, I've got high expectations. I think this is going to be top tier.
Do you reckon it's going to be top tier?
I think it's going to be in that number 1 tier spot that we've got.
So, for people that didn't watch our live stream the other day, this has nothing to do with tier. Why? Why didn't you watch? What's wrong with you?
Yeah.
Download Twitch, you wankers, and watch us do a live stream. One of our beautiful viewers, Ed, actually created the tier system for us.
Yeah, he did.
Oh, I've picked up 6 bits there. Didn't need to do that. Can you remember what they were, Ryan?
Top tier.
Yep.
Was it something like very snackable?
The second one was loved that.
Love that.
Third was very snackable.
Very snackable. 4 was not great.
Not great, I think.
Not something like that. Not if I have to. Was
If
it?
I have to, yes, it was.
And then bottom tier.
Yeah, I can't remember the bottom one, but you got on
I think
top
he
tier and bottom tier.
swore, but it got cut. It got cut out of the chat.
Oh,
Oh,
FYI for next time, if you click the stars,
right.
it shows you the message.
Oh, okay.
Just so you know.
I don't like swearing though. So
No, I know, mate.
So I won't do that.
And this is why we ban swearing in our streams,
Yeah,
don't we? Because
we
we
do.
never swear.
Never.
Anyway, download Twitch, you wankers. Into the pod. Right, are you ready for this snack?
Yeah,
It looks very crispy.
like I said, I've got anything other than top tier. I'm going to be disappointed.
Yeah, me too.
So high expectations.
Let's go.
Let's get straight
Ready?
into it.
We also found out that my brother, who mods for us on the live streams,
I'm going for more.
really hates it when we do this on the podcast.
I think a lot of people do.
But it's okay. We don't care. Enjoy our chewing. Do you want me to say it?
Say it.
It's not top tier.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
I love it.
Yeah.
It's second tier.
Right.
There's just not enough substance to it.
But I quite like that because I find chocolate, anything that's really rich is quite sickly, and I like a Boost bar. We were talking about Boost bars the other day. I used to love Boost bars as a kid. Too much for me now. It's overpowering.
My problem is, I've already had 4 squares of that, and I don't feel like I've had any. It's very light, which is lovely.
Yeah.
Taste is gorgeous. Just not enough substance.
Wow.
For me.
Okay, no, that's fair. Fair.
How are you feeling about it? So for me, it's going to be in there. I love that because I do love it. The taste, I love the taste for caramel. The crispiness was crispy, just a little bit too light.
Okay. No, yeah, no, you know what? I'm in between. It's either a very top of tier 2, which was love that, or the bottom of top tier. Big fan of, but I love caramel.
I know,
and
yeah.
Caramax. That's like my favourite, I think. And the crunch, nothing.
It's a good crunch, that.
Yeah.
Because I haven't broke a tooth.
Yeah.
It was just a nice crisp. Just
Yeah,
a nice,
yeah.
like Rice Krispie in there. Speaking of Rice Krispies, you'll be proud of me. I went shopping the other day, Ryan.
Yeah.
Down the cereal aisle. And you know
Nice.
where we was talking about buying sugary cereals and that?
Yeah.
I bought bran flakes.
Nice.
Love a bran flake.
I love bran flakes,
Yeah.
me.
Anyway, we did this last week where we spent half hour talking about food and then
This
we
is
didn't fit
this
Brad
is why
Pitt
we
in.
didn't fit the whole Brad Pitt because I actually only had like 15 minutes left to talk about Brad Pitt.
Anyway, but quickly, before we do that,
yeah, okay.
I bought you a present.
Great snack. I'm gonna say top tier at the bottom end, so it's gonna average out
Top of tier 2.
top of tier 2.
Yeah.
I think that's fair.
And I bought you a present.
Go on.
I know you like a pasty.
I do.
And last week we had the toffee yum yum.
Oh, that was top tier.
So this morning I was driving back from the shop, dropping the kid off at school, same
Yep.
thing. And I went to the shop
Yeah.
because I really fancied a hazelnut croissant for breakfast
Ooh,
with a coffee.
Lovely.
So went to Lidl again,
Yeah.
picked up hazelnut croissant. Psst, I bought 2.
Nice.
I had them both. Yes, boy. And I bought 2 of these, my friend. Portuguese tarts.
Fucking love a
I
Portuguese
got you
tart.
a Portuguese tart because I fucking love you, brother.
Oh, thanks. You do love me. I
Now,
fucking love Portuguese
what are these
tart.
called?
We googled it before.
And we've already forgot.
Pastis. Pastis
The-
de nata.
Natter. That's
Something
it.
like that.
Yes, Portuguese tart.
Portuguese tart.
I'm so excited.
Oh, me too.
Get it in your gob, mate.
Have you had these before?
Yeah. Love them. Oh.
That is good.
That phyllo pastry, mate.
If people haven't had these before, it's like, like phyllo pastry, is it?
It's like a better egg custard.
Yeah. Yeah, but it's like, custard in the middle. And then, what's on the top? What's the brown bit?
I'm assuming it's caramelised sugar.
Yeah,
You know, where
they're
they,
just like heated.
Oh, yes, boy. The mess we're making here.
This is great. I'm
Good,
making
isn't it?
a nightmare.
I proper look after you when you come round here.
You do. It's just a perfect combination of crunch and softy,
Oh,
gooey
yeah.
middle. We went to Portugal a year and a half ago, and
Oh, yeah.
they served these with breakfast.
Oh.
You know, in our hotel, there's just had a whole selection of them. And you just go up and help yourself, and sold them in like every shop because of
Portuguese tart.
So it was the home of them. You get them warm as well.
Oh.
Oh, unbelievable.
That was insane. You've still got a bit left. No, you haven't.
That was definitely 2 bites that I just put in one.
So I always feel really bad because the reason I look after you when you come round here is because you look after me when I come to yours. But you don't know. It's normally Claire. Let's be honest. It's normally Claire, and then you reap the benefits when you come round here.
Well, no.
So your wife feeds me and looks after me.
That's what marriage is.
Yeah, what's hers is yours.
Yeah.
And what's yours is yours.
Yeah. Too right. That's the contract I signed.
How are we feeling about the Portuguese tart?
It's just fantastic. It's as good as I remember it.
Top tier?
I think it's top tier for me.
Definitely top tier.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What
Two
great
fantastic
snacks.
snacks.
Unbelievable.
I'm so glad we got together for this.
I know, just to get snacks.
Brad Pitt was last week. This week is all about the snacks.
Yeah. Best week ever.
And not only that, we're about to hit the 10-minute mark. So now we can just stop recording and we can just listen to us from last week.
Yeah. Lovely.
Are you ready?
I'm ready.
All right, here we go. Here's a bit of Brad Pitt from the 2000 onwards. Peace. Right, so I guess we should go into 2000s now. This is going to be a long-ass episode, but fuck it, let's just go.
Well, 2000 starts with a fucking banger as well.
Snatch.
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 Snatch. I
What a film!
It's an insane film, isn't it? Like, it's...
Is it insane because the film is insane, or is it insane because Brad Pitt is so insanely good, do you think?
I think both.
I agree, because I love the film. I think if Brad Pitt's character is one of my favourite characters,
Yeah.
but I feel he could have been done by someone else, not as good, but
Not
the
as
film
good, but
still
the film
would have stood up brilliantly.
Absolutely, because it felt like, obviously, it's Guy Ritchie, gangster film, natural follow-on from Lock, Stock and Two Smoking Barrels, which is a great film in its own right.
Yeah.
This one just felt like a bigger, better, in every way, version of that, if that makes sense.
Absolutely.
And that's still a great film, and that didn't have bloody Brad Pitt in one of his greatest roles of all time.
But look at the characters in this fucking film. We've got Brad Pitt as the Irishman. What's his name in it?
Pikey.
The Pikey.
He's One Punch Mickey, isn't he?
One Punch Mickey. Then Jason Statham. Stephen Graham.
Yep.
As the two sort of idiot.
Yeah, they're like the
Middlemen.
duo, aren't they? Yeah.
The duo.
Turkish and Tommy.
Bricktop, who is as good as fucking One Punch Mickey.
Yeah.
As good.
Yeah, absolutely.
Who else we got? What other memorable characters?
Vinnie Jones, Bullet Tooth Tony.
Fucking Bullet Tooth Tony, yes! I love when he's smashing that guy's face in the car door. Bonjour. Just killing this guy, then picks the phone up. Bonjour.
Bonjour. In the shittest, not even pretending to be French either. Bonjour. Even like Benicio del Toro, Frankie Four Fingers.
Oh shit! Yeah,
You know, it's like
oh my god,
the cast is insane.
So this is one of those films I've not seen in years and years, but I've seen it enough times that I'll remember it till I die.
I'm exactly the same as you. Like, I've seen it loads. Probably, I can't remember the last time I watched it all the way through.
I'd probably say 4 to 5 years for me.
Yeah. Yeah, we're probably the same. I think I started watching it last year. I just stuck it on because I was like, it's something I know I'll enjoy. It'll be on in the background. I can dip in and out, but I didn't finish it. But yeah, what an insane cast. Which you know, it's just a gritty British gangster film.
Oh yeah,
yeah. It's drawn in like absolute elite. Okay, Jason Statham, Stephen Graham were very much up and coming, but they've gone on to be huge in their own right.
Huge, yeah.
You know, Benicio del Toro must have been.
He was massive.
Oscar winner, Oscar nominated by this point. Yeah. Brad Pitt, at this stage, I mean, we've just gone through his films from the 90s, which are insane. You know, he's following up Fight Club by playing a pikey.
Weird, really, isn't it? Because you're like, okay, British gangster film with one of America's biggest superstars.
Yeah, one of the biggest superstars in the world.
Playing an Irishman.
He's not even Irish, is he? They say he's pikey, don't he? Because he's like part Irish, part... like fucking traveller, part whatever. It's just like, because they take the piss out of his accent, don't they? It's nothing. It's not a nothing accent. Just literally living in a caravan park with all these other pikeys.
Probably one of the most quotable films of all time.
Yeah, I agree. And it still baffles me, even now, 24 years later, that Brad Pitt, probably the biggest star in the world, an absolute icon, sex symbol, is just playing a pikey.
But he's a sex symbol in this.
Oh, he is sexy.
He's sexy as hell.
He's sexy, but yeah, I totally agree. But like, it's just mad. I still can't believe it. And he plays a pikey so perfectly. Let's be honest. No way is he know what a pikey is.
Oh no, he doesn't.
Prior to this film,
no.
But he nails it.
Yeah.
Like, obviously, they're all playing like caricatures of. They all are of like gangsters and like, it's playing on stereotypes. But I just arguably one of his greatest roles.
Oh, absolutely. Bearing in mind, this is one of the hardest men on earth. One punch Mickey, whatever his name is.
Yeah.
And it's that scene where he's betting him for a caravan. And when he wins it, he just slams his fist down and goes, Periwinkle Blue. He wants caravan in Periwinkle Blue.
It's... If you've not seen Snatch, you need to watch Snatch. It is...
Okay. Who would win?
Go on.
In a bat... no, I'm not going to say because One Punch Mickey would definitely win in a fight. Who is better as a character then? One Punch Mickey?
Yeah.
Tyler Durden.
It's
a fucking tough one, isn't it?
I can't... I don't know if I can answer that.
They're up there.
They're both up there. I think because of like the Britishness and like how that feels obviously, do you know what I mean? It feels a bit
Yeah,
more
yeah,
like unique to us.
More homely.
In all the worst
Darling.
ways.
Yeah.
I'm going to go for One Punch Mickey or what? Yeah.
By a tad.
By a tad.
By
I
a
mean,
net's
I
bollock.
literally, he asked me again tomorrow, I'm saying Tyler Durden.
Yeah.
But, this film is incredible. 8.2 it's got on IMDb.
Massive, yeah.
Currently ranked at the 122nd greatest film of all time.
I would love to find someone that doesn't like this film.
Yeah, what's not to like? It's got, like you said, it's so quotable. Every character is memorable. Like, even their names, like, they're just huge actors, or even mixed in with like proper homegrown British talent.
Oh yeah.
And a lot of them, like I said earlier, they've gone from being very small to now being huge. So you reckon that you watch this film now again, 24 years later, and you're like, oh my God, I know pretty like 90% of this cast.
24 years later.
I
I was
know.
11 when this film came out. How weird is that?
That is crazy, isn't it?
I'm like a full grown ass man now. In body.
In body.
Yeah. Right, should we move on?
We should move on,
'Cause
yeah.
we will get stuck here all
Yeah,
night.
we'll just focus on the big ones, shall we?
Troy will probably be the next.
Well,
would it?
we've got Ocean's 11, and I know
yeah.
we've spoke about that a bit already.
You don't overly remember it, and I've definitely not seen it.
Yeah, the first one, 7.7 on IMDb.
Okay.
I remember the first one, again, it's just like your stereotypical heist film.
Yeah.
Massive cast, George Clooney, Brad Pitt, both at sort of like the height of their popularity. Matt Damon, Julia Roberts. It's an unbelievable cast, and they all get together to... It's a stereotypical heist film. It's fun, bit cheesy, doesn't take itself too seriously. I think the first one works really well, and I would say give it a chance.
I'll give it a go, yeah.
Although, what's his name? Don Cheadle, is it?
Don Cheadle, yeah.
From who best known as War Machine.
Yeah.
He's in it and he has a British accent.
Okay.
The worst accent of all time.
Really?
It's that bad that I think they make him drop it for the second and third film.
Okay.
It's that bad.
Yeah.
Like horrendously bad.
God. Is it just over the top stereotypical?
Yeah. And it just doesn't work. It's like, it's not even... It doesn't even work in like a comical sense, because I don't think he's trying to play that off. Like, yeah, it's just... like if you just said, you're from London. My name is Michael Caine.
Yeah.
Like that. And
Get us a cup of tea.
Yeah, and you're like,
bottle of water.
Yeah. It's just so
I
cringy.
watched a video the other day, and it was like, it says Americans, British people are so posh, and then British people, and it's a Graham Norton interview with Adele, and she's like, can you fucking imagine if I had a fucking kid? Like Adele, one of the most beautiful singers I know. She's like, can you fucking imagine?
Yeah. Oh, it sums up the British people.
Oh, God,
it?
yeah, for sure.
But yeah, then I think it jumps to Troy, 2004.
Troy, yeah.
You watched that recently, didn't you?
I did indeed, yeah. Not my sort of film normally, so I'd avoided it for a while. I don't know. It's just that time period that it's not the fact. This isn't a film set in the snow or anything like that that puts me off it.
Yeah.
But I just the certain films that I've watched around that time period that I wasn't that interested in, so I never bothered. But because we was doing this and people kept going, "How have you not seen Troy? Give it a go." So I did, and I fucking loved it.
Yeah, good.
Absolutely loved it.
I really enjoy it. But this is totally my sort of film.
Oh, easy.
Sword and sandal, like historical, mythological epic, based on the classic story of, the fall of Troy, which has been done to death. Like so many adaptations of it.
Oh, yeah.
But this is a full-blown Hollywood epic in terms of budget, in terms of cast. The cast is absolutely insane. Brad Pitt, Eric Bana, who I really, really like in this. I think Eric Bana... To say he's not the star because you got he's facing off against Brad Pitt. He holds his own.
Oh, big time.
And I found I was rooting for him, who plays Hector, obviously the leader of the hero of the Trojans versus Achilles, who's like the leader of one of the heroes of the Greeks. And but on top of that, Sean Bean. Fucking love Sean Bean. And biggest shock of the film. He actually survives.
I know.
Unbelievable.
That does not happen very
when
often.
everybody else pretty much in the whole film dies, except Sean Bean. It's like it's some weird like alternate universe where Sean Bean survives in every film and everyone else dies. But you know, Orlando Bloom, Brendan Gleeson.
Brendan Gleeson's banging in this film. Because I only knew Brad Pitt was in it. I didn't know any of the other cast. So when I was watching it, I was pleasantly surprised, at every corner. Like, oh, fuck Orlando Bloom.
Yeah.
Oh, brilliant banner.
So many.
Oh, brilliant Gleeson.
So many recognisable faces.
Who's the main guy for the Greeks?
Brian Cox, who
Brian
plays
Cox.
Agamemnon.
Yes.
The king of the Greeks. Yeah, he's great in this.
He's awesome in it. Again, such a sarcastic prick.
Yeah, he's such a douchebag. You love to hate him because he plays him that well. But yeah, this is exactly my sort of film. Like growing up, I'd watch a lot of the Greek legend films. Like they always used to be on at Christmas, like Jason and the Argonauts or Clash of the Titans and stuff. But they were all like the proper old like 50s and 60s, the stop motion animation ones. But then growing up, you know, like things like Lord of the Rings or Sword and Sandal, basically. It's my thing, and I think this one's done quite well. I know it got pretty mixed reviews, but I don't know what.
No,
if it's not, I guess if it's not your type of film, fair enough. But for me, it ticked all the boxes.
But then saying it wasn't my type of film, and I adored it. And then, you know, yes, granted, I'm on a Brad Pitt binge at the minute, but everything about it, like I said, the whole cast list, the story was done great. I think,
the battle scenes, some of the sequences, the epic battle between Achilles versus Hector. That showdown, that was cool. It was like really tense.
That was horrible, really tense.
Proper tense because it's just awful. But how good is Brad Pitt as Achilles?
He's so good because again, he's one of these. He's arrogant in his own way of I can't be defeated.
Yeah.
Like he can't be arsed. You know, the first time you come across him, they're about to go to battle, and it's a case of I'll tell you what, let's not sacrifice many men.
Yeah.
Let's just get your best versus my best.
Yeah.
This big 8 foot tall bloke walks out.
Fucking
let's
massive,
go.
isn't he?
Achilles, get here. Where is he? He's not there. So he sends some kid back to go grab him, and he's just laid there arse naked, fast asleep with 2 women.
Yeah.
And he's like, what?
Yeah.
Leave me alone. Oh, for fuck's sake, fine.
Yeah.
Boom, stab. Dead.
Like it's not even, don't even think about it, does it?
And that's him the whole way through it. Like he throws his like dummy out the pram so many times. We're like, I'm not fighting you anymore. Fuck off. Fight your own battles because he's like a mercenary for hire type thing.
He's a warlord, isn't he? And Agamemnon, who's the king, he's just collected all the warlords of Greece under one banner, basically. So he's got a lot of different kings to try and keep in line.
Yeah.
So in Achilles, who's like the greatest warrior in the world, you know, prophesies that he can't be killed and stuff. So, and I think Brad Pitt, I think what he does as well, because in a lot of ways, I imagine that's probably quite a one-dimensional role. I know Achilles is like a classical Greek legend, but I feel like it could easily just have been like, oh, you're the pretty boy, you're in the you got the good body. That's all you need to do. Just turn up, look pretty in the sunshine with your long blonde hair,
and fling this foam sword around.
This sword around, and that's it. But I feel like he tries to bring a bit of as much like nuance to it as he can. He's a bit more brooding. He's a bit more thoughtful, as well as like the obvious things like the arrogance and stuff. So I think he tries to. I think he didn't want to do this film.
Okay,
but he was contractually obliged to because he was under contract from the studio, so he had to produce so many films. So they're like, we want you in this. But who better to epitomise the greatest that humanity can offer? A god amongst men. You get Brad Pitt to play him, obviously the peak of his like in his prime. So I think it's worth checking out. I know there's an extended edition which I've seen a couple of times, which is quite a bit longer. I think about 3.5 hours.
Yes.
Which it's a bit more serious. I think it's a bit more somber in tone, but it's still good.
Yeah, I was just looking what year it was, 2004, yeah.
2004, yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely worth checking out. I think even if you just want to see Brad Pitt topless on the beach.
Yeah, definitely. Should we go from that, a film where he's shredded and a hunk of a man to something very similar with Benjamin Button?
Yeah, we can do. That jumps quite a bit, doesn't it?
Am I missing much there?
A
couple of the ocean films.
Yeah, I mean, if you just, I'm just flicking through. So yeah, Ocean's 12, Mr. and Mrs. Smith, not
Still never seen it.
not great. Babel, I've never seen.
Never seen it.
But I mean, it's got high 7.5. Ocean's 13 again.
No.
The assassination of Jesse James by the coward Robert Ford.
Not seen it, but I've heard terrible things.
It's, from what I remember, it's 2 hours 40. It's very slow from what I remember. It's quite sort of like, I don't want to say artistic because that gives it, but you know what I mean? It's a bit sort of thoughtful and stuff. It's not an action film. It's very trying to be a bit more of a character study.
Yeah, because he that was on my list of films to watch, but I got told it was terrible, and I thought, I'm not wasting 2 hours 40 if it's not good.
Yeah. Burn After Reading. I don't really remember.
I love that film.
I can't remember it.
Yeah, I watched that. I watched that again recently. Again, he's only a bit part in that, so he's the side character. He plays a gym dumbass.
Yes,
so he works in a
it.
gym, and he's blackmailing Thingy Malkovich.
Yeah.
Saying, because he thinks he's got some like secret spy fucking he found this CD-ROM and he thinks it's secret spy fucking stuff on it because it's all coded.
Yeah.
When it's actually just the finances because his wife's going to leave him.
Oh, yeah.
And some of his memoirs.
Yeah.
And then it just gets absolutely ridiculous and they try to sell it to the Russians. And it just gets completely out of fucking place.
I remember being
I love this film. It's a Coen Brothers film, so I'm going to love it.
Yeah.
But what I love about his character in this, he just plays a dumbass.
Yeah.
He plays kind of, again, you know, he's a good-looking gym rat.
Yeah.
Works in a gym, and his job is to just act like a dumbass.
Yeah,
and he plays it so well.
He does. He's got, again, just showing his range, isn't it? I probably need to rewatch that because I think I watched it at the cinema, and I didn't know
George Clooney.
Yeah, and I didn't know what to expect, especially I was probably a bit young for like the Coen brothers at that stage.
That's the thing, isn't it?
But yeah, then we move on to Curious Case of Benjamin Button.
Benji B. I kept messaging you about this whilst I was watching it. And I kept calling, because I'm not writing that every time, so I kept saying, oh, Benji B's just done this. And I was like, it's really not doing this film any justice calling him Benji B.
Yeah. I've only seen this film the once at the cinema.
Years ago I watched it.
And you'll have to remind me about it.
Yeah, so it's I just nearly said typical story.
It's
quite.
not typical at all. It's
so it's the story of a baby is born with this weird disease and is kind of just dropped on the doorsteps of this old people's home.
Yeah.
And the disease is basically he is born an old man and his age regresses as he progresses.
Yeah.
So as a young child, he's an old man. And it's kind of the story of him dealing with this illness, but at the same time, the friends he makes along the way, he's telling stories about when he becomes a fisherman, he becomes a seaman for a while, and all these quirky characters he meets along the way, and then his love story with
Kate Blanchett.
I forgot her name for a second then.
Yeah.
Tilda Swinton in this again, who I absolutely adore. He has a bit of a love affair with her. It's so good. He acts, and this is one thing I picked up on quite well, because obviously as he's becoming older and he's getting younger, that's when he can play Brad Pitt.
Yeah.
The good-looking, suave movie.
I remember that being quite late in the film, though.
It's very late in the film.
Like, a lot of it is him and like under prosthetics, being the old man.
Yes.
Having those mannerisms, but it must be such an interesting role to play because he's an old man in terms of body, but mentally he's still young and naive.
Well, this is what I picked up on. So as he's getting a little bit older, so we're talking 9 years old, he's only being able to walk out of his wheelchair, because obviously he's an old man in a wheelchair.
Yeah.
But he does this real good job of, he's got a child's innocence in his eye.
Yeah.
And, you know, Kate Blanchett's character, I can't remember her name, when she's a kid, he's like, oh, Benjamin, come have a look. Benjamin, come play. And he runs, but still with his old man limp, but he's got the body and the energy of a child. He does it so well.
Yeah.
And when I watched this when I was younger, again, I didn't appreciate film like I do now, but I was like, okay, what an interesting story. But now I look more into it, and like I'm looking at the acting, I'm looking at more the storytelling a bit more, the characters, the development. This film is fucking unreal, mate.
Yeah.
It is outstanding.
I really, really want to rewatch it.
Yeah, I'm so glad I rewatched it.
And I will rewatch it, and it's just... Oh, yeah, it's one of them, the films that sticks with you because it's so unique. David Fincher, again, who obviously... Reuniting Brad Pitt with David Fincher after Fight Club and Seven. another great
couldn't
film.
believe it when I saw this was David Fincher.
Yeah.
Fincher at the end.
Because it's quite heartfelt and it's quite lovely from what I remember. It's not it's not as dark as those other ones.
I ain't afraid to say it, mate. I lost a tear or two at the end of this film.
Yeah, it's
I forgot how hard hitting the end of this film is.
Yeah, it is. I remember it being emotional, and I remember it just being an incredible portrayal by everyone involved. Kate Blanchett, she's going to do an incredible performance no matter what film she's in. She is fantastic. But looking at this film, it's got 7.8 on IMDb, but it's nominated for 13 Oscars.
Yeah.
Winning 3 of them. And it won for art direction, makeup, and visual effects, but it was also nominated for Best Picture of the Year. Brad Pitt was nominated for Best Actor in a leading role. So
As
that,
he should.
by this stage, will have been his second film nomination.
I think so, yeah.
Because what was the first one we said? 12 Monkeys.
12 Monkeys, yeah.
So, something like 13 years later for his second nomination. But yeah, what a great film. Quite a long one again, 2 hours 46, but it's a proper epic tale, isn't it?
Oh, massively,
and it's done really well.
Jason Fleming in it, he's really good, plays his biological father. I can't remember the name of the guy who plays the seaman. Jared Harris.
Yes.
He's so good as this pissed up, sea captain. I love his side story. When he starts working the
one
boats.
I can't remember.
Yeah, he's so good.
Yeah. All right, should we move on?
Yeah,
We've got lots to cover. Where are we jumping to next then?
Next for me, so I just went down and wrote them in years for the films I've seen. So please, if you're flicking through, tell me if there's any in between I've missed. But I've got Inglourious Basterds next.
1 year later, Inglourious Basterds, Quentin Tarantino. We're doing one thing only: killing Nazis. What a ridiculous film!
What a brilliant film!
It's so good. It's just typical Tarantino, isn't it?
Oh, typical Tarantino.
It's classic him in every sense of the word.
Down to the fact that he didn't he spelt bastards wrong or something?
Yeah, it's bastards, TERDS.
No, he did say he spelt it wrong for a reason, didn't he?
It's because then it can be presented, so otherwise it'd have to be starred off or whatever.
Right, yeah,
but because it's spelt incorrectly, it's not actually a swear word.
That's Tarantino through and through. And
it's just so clever. The cast is insane in this.
Ridiculous cast.
I mean, Brad Pitt is fantastic in this as Lieutenant Aldo Rain, but for me, this film's all about Christopher Waltz.
Oh my God, yes.
Colonel Hans Lander.
He still goes down as one of my favourite characters in any film,
One of the greatest villains of all time.
100%. I think we've brought this up.
So good. He won the Best Actor Academy Award for that.
But Eli Roth.
Yeah.
The guy, he's really good. Now, Donnie Donovitz, does he play the bear? Is that his name in it?
Yes.
He plays the bear. From that, bringing us the Hostel films next.
I know. Yeah, I know.
Michael Fassbender, Christoph Waltz, Daniel Bruhl.
Yeah, the cast list's insane, but you're always people are going to flock to a Tarantino film, aren't they? As soon as Tarantino.
Always.
Because by this point, he's a household name, and this is just peak Tarantino in every way. Rewriting history. He's not afraid to do that.
No,
it's a period piece, and it can have those ridiculous over the top action sequences, but you've also got the classic Tarantino of the slow build up, the tension, especially the scene where they're in the pub and trying to infiltrate, and he holds up the wrong symbol, Michael Fassbender, and it ends up in a big bloody shootout. But it's just so good. I really want to rewatch it because, again, there's another one I've not seen for a couple of years.
I was just about to say that. It's probably been 3 or 4 years since I've seen this film as well, so it's worth a rewatch.
Yeah.
Again, 8.4.
8.4, it's currently, again, another one must be in the top 250 films list.
It's got to be at that.
It's sitting at 69th greatest film of all time.
Lads.
Hey! Well, this is what I was saying about Brad Pitt. Not only is he great in this film, but the films that he's in are fantastic. A lot, I know, okay, not all of them, but there's so many. How many films so far have we said it's in the top 250 films of all time? They're all so many critically acclaimed films.
Oh, definitely.
And he doesn't feel out of place in them. Do you know what I mean? It's we're not just putting Brad Pitt in just for the looks or just for this. It's because, we're going to get a great character out of him, so that's a safe bet.
Definitely, yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Unbelievable
Again,
film. Unbelievable.
Brad Pitt at his bloody finest.
Yeah.
Next for me was Moneyball.
Yeah, I would say Moneyball. I only watched that recently in preparation
too.
for this. So 2011. I think what put me off with this, because I knew it was a film about basketball. Baseball, sorry.
Yeah.
And that's like the extent of my knowledge of it.
So kind of the same. So I knew it was a baseball film about statistics with Jonas Hill.
Yeah.
That's what I knew. So that interests me to a certain amount because I love American sport anyway.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, so this isn't just a typical American sports film of the underdog rising to whatever. This is genuinely about statistics.
And it's based on a true story, isn't it?
Yes, exactly. So I was like, okay, this could be good. And it was one of those, I just missed it.
Yeah.
And I never got round to
I'm
it.
the same.
And then the longer it went, the less I gave a fuck.
Yeah, I'm exactly the same. I just missed it. I'm not particularly interested in American sports. So the idea of watching a film about baseball, I was like, well, okay. Like if someone suggests it and like wants to put it on, fine. But
yeah.
I'm not going to go out my way to watch it. But I'm so glad I did because I really, really enjoyed it. I won't put it up in the top tier of like some of these other films that I've seen, but it was a good film, a solid watch.
Very good film. Jonas Hill's really good in it.
Yeah, he's really good in it. Brad Pitt's really good in it.
Oh God, yeah.
I thought Brad Pitt was fantastic.
A very different role for what, because he's very straight edge in this. He's just the owner of a
it's like weird because obviously from what I've learned from baseball is they have like a general manager who's responsible for getting players in and out of the club, and they throughout the season they can be chopped and changed. So it's very different to like football, for example, where you have a limited window, and normally the manager might have a bit of say who manages the team and chooses starting lineup, whereas the general manager has nothing to do with that.
Yeah,
he's almost like the top below the boss. It's like he's responsible for arranging it all the logistics, and then he hands it over to the actual manager to sort the day-to-day play out. But he meets Jonah Hill, who's got this new idea, or it's based on his old idea about statistics, and then they try and build a team around that.
Yeah, he's a finance major, isn't he?
Yeah.
And he's working for another team. That Brad Pitt tries to do a deal with, and he's like, why is he listening to you? And he's like, well, he doesn't always listen to me. And the idea of everyone goes where money is. Yeah. Everyone goes because he's worth a lot of money, he must be good. Yeah. Whereas this guy over here, who's 2 years out of the age range that people will go for, you can get him for a quarter of the price. Yeah. But statistically does better than
that's it.
This
and
guy
it's like, or like you can get these two players here that will cost a fraction of this really expensive flashy player, but statistically between them they will get more home runs or whatever it is than this other player. So it statistically makes sense to have those two. So it was really interesting, and all like the backlash they get for doing that and how they perseveres. But it's in a lot of ways it's your stereotypical feel-good sports film.
Oh, it is just because again it is the underdog story.
Yeah, it is because they're the lowest. They've got one of the lowest budgets in the league. So and they just miss out on the playoffs or whatever. And so
I just think it's done a lot better. I think there's not really much to overcome. I'm sticking to my guns.
Yeah. And it's just whether that'll work or not. And I feel like the start of the film was quite confusing because if you don't know a lot about baseball, I was a bit like, what the hell's going on?
That's the thing. I don't know much about baseball.
And to start with, I found it very confusing. But then by the end of it, you're fully invested and it's really good. And Brad Pitt, again, was fantastic. And I think, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think this was another Oscar nomination nod for Mr. Pitt.
And Jonah Hill.
And Jonah Hill, yeah.
I think this was his first Oscar
nominated for 6 Oscars, Moneyball.
Jesus.
Yeah, best performance by an actor in a leading role, Brad Pitt. Supporting role, Jonah Hill.
Yeah.
So another one, 7.6.
Did Jonah Hill get it for this?
No, they all got nominated but didn't win. Right. So, yeah, great film.
Yeah, but really enjoyed it. Again, it's just something different. Yeah. When you think the films we've spoke about up to now, they're all very different.
It's another one. It's another
vampires or crazy fucking bad guys or a
heist film.
Or a heist film. Yeah.
Like this one's a bit more of a straight-laced film.
I'm just a manager.
Just a manager at a sports school, based on a true story.
Yeah.
There's no fighting, there's no drama, there's no shootouts, there's no crazy situations. It's
not a love story.
Straight-laced, isn't it? Like, we're going to manage a baseball team, and that's it. We're going to go from there.
Yeah.
But definitely worth a watch. Definitely check it out. It's a good film. Because again, it's one of them where I don't think that many people talk about it, or it's never been recommended to me. Do you know what I mean? So that's one of the reasons why I've never sought it out.
But then when you say to people, "Oh, I watched Moneyball recently," they're like, "Oh, great film."
Yeah.
I said it to Max.
Yeah.
Not expecting him to. I know he's a big sports guy, but I wasn't expecting him to have seen it. And he went, "Oh yeah, I love that film."
Yeah. So it's just one of them that people.
Wow.
I probably wouldn't go out of my way to, oh my God, watch this film. But if someone talked about it, I'd be like, oh yeah, definitely worth a watch.
Yeah, no, I'm not going to rush back to watch it again, but yeah, I did enjoy it. So next on my list is World War Z.
I agree, yeah. World War Z 2013.
Yeah.
I mean, we spoke about World War Z a few times, I think, over the course of this podcast. But zombie World War, what I like about this is, as opposed to other zombie films, is it's the scale.
Oh, it's the scale. Yeah.
It's huge, and it sets you right in the middle of the zombie apocalypse, which I like. A lot of times the zombie apocalypse films will start where like, main character just woke up from a coma, and it's all, the outbreak has already happened. It's all about
me,
the
I'm
side.
Cillian Murphy.
Yeah. Oh, look at me, I'm Andrew Lincoln.
I heard Cillian Murphy's coming back for
28 years later. Yeah, that'd be cool. Reuniting with Danny
really
Boyle.
I love them films.
Oh, so
love
good.
them.
Me too.
No, but you're right. The scale of this, because they're all over the world, aren't
Yeah.
they? They're in Israel at one point, and
yeah, they're in Jerusalem. They're in like the Middle East. There's somewhere else, I think, at one point. Korea, I think.
Yeah.
They're in Wales. They're in America. Like, because what's different is it's just a different take on the zombie story. Like, because he's an investigator he used to work for the UN, and he gets roped in to try and find the source of the outbreak and how are we going to battle this? How are we going to overcome it? So it's very much, he's like priority one.
Yeah.
Not before where he's just like a lowly survivor, because you have those elements in it, especially at the start, like him and his family trying to survive. But Brad Pitt, it's like, this is an important guy that can be used. So the government want him, we'll keep him alive at all costs, prioritize, get him a plane to here, get him some troops. And Brad Pitt isn't the action guy in this film.
No, he's not
the action guy. He's literally
the reporter.
He's the reporter, the investigator, and he has the soldiers around him to keep him alive, which again, I thought was a cool take. And Brad Pitt's cool as fuck in this film, by the way.
He's so cool.
Just his look, everything about him.
That big scarf.
Yeah,
he looks
the
good
scarf.
in a big scarf.
I just want that scarf.
Yeah.
Like his long hair and like a bit bearded, and he's just like the nice, good guy.
Yeah.
And okay, it's a film that's it's a flawed film.
It's a zombie film.
It's a zombie film, but they've also made it like a 12, so there's very little violence in it. It's very little gore. All the fighting happens off screen. The zombies are very CGI, very CGI.
Fucking scary though.
Because they're proper
runners.
sprinters and they're like crawling all over each other, and you're getting thousands of them. So I do love it, and I love the scale of it. I know people that have read the book have kicked off because it's nothing like the book. Apparently,
I've never finished the book, but I got about 3/4 way through it because the book's like a diary.
Yeah, and it's all like different people's perspective,
like
isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah. That's it. It's all different perspective around the world of what's going on. But then, what can you do with a film like that if you're going to bring it out? But no, I like it. Like I say, I enjoyed the book. It's been years. I mean, it was the zombie boom of like 2015 when I fucking read that book. But then the game was really good.
Yeah, I enjoyed the game.
Really,
we
have to play Aftermath actually, because that's now
on Game Pass, isn't it? Which is just it's a complete rip off of Left 4 Dead.
Oh yeah,
but it works so well.
It works brilliantly. Yeah,
I really enjoyed it.
So again, not his best, but
a solid film, and that's one that I would probably stick that on over
Moneyball,
or even like Fight Club.
Really,
because Fight Club's a way better film, and I totally hold my hands up, but it's an easy watching zombie film.
Yeah, I can just
stick it on in the background, and I don't need to pretend, and I can just jump in and out, and I don't have to pay attention to it.
Yeah.
So in terms of, and for me, a zombie film, it's a great background film as well.
Definitely.
Which is no discredit to it, but yeah.
So next for me, and I'm kind of hoping you've seen it recently, 12 Years a Slave. So I've seen it, but a long time ago.
So this is a bit of a weird one for Brad Pitt because he's got a tiny role in it.
Yes.
Right at the end, he plays the builder, the guy that helps build the house, and he's the one that reports that the main character is a slave, and he goes and reports it to the authorities.
But he got an Oscar for this, didn't he?
Brad Pitt got an Oscar as a producer.
Oh, did he?
Because Brad Pitt's massive in producing. So, like, he's got big company. He helps produce films.
Okay.
So this won Best Film of the Year, and it's always the producers that win Best Film. So although this was Brad Pitt's first ever Oscar win, it was because as a producer, because it won Best Film. But in terms of, and that's why I don't really, in a lot of ways, I don't really class it as a Brad Pitt film, because even though it's a quality film, and the performances by everyone, especially Michael Fassbender and the main guy, I can't remember I will just butcher his name. It's Chiwetel Ejiofor.
Yeah.
Who's obviously plays the main character. They're incredible in it. So Brad Pitt is literally, it's like a glorified cameo at the end, probably because he is producer of the film.
Yeah.
I mean, still like a small important role, but yeah, great film. Not seen it for years. Not an easy watch at all.
No, God, no.
A very good, realistic take on the, absolute atrocities of slavery. So definitely worth a watch. But yeah, Brad Pitt's first Oscar win. There we go. But as producer, so by that point he'd been nominated for 3 acting awards, but picked up his first one for producing.
So next film on my list is Fury.
Yeah, a year later, I think. Yeah, 2014 Fury.
So again, only watched this recently for the first time. On my list forever. Just, you've got to be in the mood to stick a film like this on.
World War II.
It's about war. It's about, I know some people love war films. I don't. I don't like the thought of war. All stuff like that fills me full of anxiety. I don't like it. So I tend to avoid them normally, unless I have to. But obviously I was doing this episode. I've always wanted to watch the film, so I put it on. Jesus Christ, why hadn't I watched this film already?
It's so good, isn't it?
It is so good, and he is unreal.
Yeah, he is. He really is. He's fantastic in this because, like you said, the war genre has been done to death. No pun intended. It's how do you do? There's probably thousands of World War II films out there. How do you do something that's different? And I feel this film does it because it's about a tank crew, which you don't really see that many films
you really
about.
Don't.
And it's just very much about one tank and the crew, and it's all about it's coming to the end of World War II. They're in Germany. It's really the last few sort of days, weeks of the war. It's all coming to an end. So this tank crew are like hardened veterans, led by Brad Pitt. And insane cast in there: John Bernthal, Michael Pena.
Oh, he's my boy. Michael Pena. He's in everything. I love seeing Michael Pena. John Bernthal.
Yeah, John Bernthal, Shia LaBeouf.
Yeah.
And then so it's all about following the new character right at the start. One of the crew members is killed, been with them from the start of the war. So they're all don't want to accept someone new.
They're boys.
And then Logan Lerman's character comes in, who's like the rookie, literally.
Rookie, he was a desk jockey.
He was a desk jockey. He's like a kid, isn't he? So, and then him trying to fit in with this hardened crew who were just like nails, and it's very gritty. It's not an easy watch in a lot of ways, but there's some epic sequences. It's tense. It's heroic. It's awful. It just ticks all the boxes for me for a war film.
Agreed.
And Brad Pitt again just looks cool as fuck in it. Like his hairstyle,
covered in bloody
scars and stuff, and he's believable.
Oh God, yeah.
Like. Again, I don't think he plays like one-dimensional characters, so he's not like just a stereotypical hard man. He's quite thoughtful and he knows what he needs to do. So he is whatever his men need him to be. Yeah. So he can adapt to that situation. He can be the guy that puts his hand around the shoulder, but he can also be the guy that smacks him around the face.
Yeah.
And he can be whatever, and they all respect him and fall in line. And you can see why. He plays a very underrated leader of men in this film, I think.
Definitely.
Because he's not said in the same breath of like other great leaders that you see in film, but I think he just plays it really, really well.
And I think you sort of get the depth of his character in this, in the scene where they break into the two females' house in Germany.
Yeah.
So they sort of take over this little village, this little town in Germany. They break into this house, shut the door, guns out. He's ready to kill these two women.
Yeah.
He's ready to plant bullets in them.
Yeah.
But he realises the house is free. He gives them a pack of eggs and he's like, make us some breakfast. Here's a couple of packs of cigarettes for your troubles. old bloody Logan Lerman's getting his rocks off in the other room, and he's like, "Oh, you do you, bro," and he's just really nice. But then John Bernthal comes in, pissed up, treating them all like shit, bullying Logan Lerman's character, and he puts up with it for a certain amount of time because he understands this is war. We're in Germany, but as soon as he starts going after the women and as soon as it goes too far, he fucking stands up, doesn't he? He's like, put that down now.
Yeah.
And he's scary. He's like,
he is.
1 minute he'll put a bullet in you, then he's really nice and soft, and then he's to his own crew. He's like, I'll put a bullet in you if you don't fucking wind your neck in.
Yeah.
And I think that one scene in itself just shows his depth.
Absolutely, I totally agree. It's a really powerful scene. It's an uncomfortable watch because
it really is, yeah.
It's just the dynamics are really tough going, but he plays it so well. And I think he's by this stage in his career, he's the veteran actor.
And
he plays it because Shia LaBeouf, John Bernthal, Michael Pena, they're all like great actors in their own sense, but they've been on the scene a lot less of time. By this point, 2014, we started by talking films 30 years ago. So Brad Pitt's been on the scene. No, 20 years ago. Sorry. Yeah, in the 90s.
Yeah.
So suddenly, he's the veteran actor that holds his own, that keeps everyone together, and it's almost like you could see their natural places in society in real life crossing over into this fictional one. But
for sure.
I really, really like this film.
Yeah, I do as well, and I would watch this again.
Yeah, me too.
Happily watch it again.
Same.
And like I say, there's some really uncomfortable scenes, There's a scene where they're trying to get, they need Logan Lerman to be part of the crew, so they force him to shoot a Nazi. It churned my stomach watching it. I was like, it was so uncomfortable. And
I know.
You get like getting goosebumps talking about it now. Like, very uncomfortable watch, but very, very good.
Yeah.
Done so well. Everyone acts their part so well. Unreal film.
Absolutely, yeah.
So the next one I want to talk ever so slightly about, but we're actually going to be discussing this in a couple of weeks.
Yeah.
Is The Big Short.
Yeah, I've not seen it. You've asked me to watch it.
I have.
And we're going to do an episode on it. And I know a little bit about it. I know it's quite critically acclaimed. I know it's got an insane cast.
And you've got to really pay attention.
Christian Bale, Steve Carell, Ryan Gosling, Brad Pitt. I mean,
yes.
Unbelievable.
Yeah, unreal cast. But Brad Pitt in this film is phenomenal.
Really?
Because he's technically he's in it quite a bit, but he's technically a cameo.
Right.
So he plays this old bank broker. So he's like an old school investor trader who came out of the game just because he hates bankers. He hates the world. What they want is for people to lose their houses so they can make money. So he's got this really weird haircut, like bowl haircut and a beard.
Yeah.
And he's completely off the grid.
Right,
so
okay.
to ring him, he's got about 50 phones in front of him. And if they ring the wrong ones, he's like, don't call me. And he hangs up. And every time he picks it up, he answers it like he doesn't know who it is. And, but he's completely off the grid. So he adds this really quirky, because the film's quirky as hell.
Okay.
It's, what's his name? Adam McKay, the director.
It is Adam McKay.
Adam McKay, and because he's really quirky anyway in all of his films. But we'll talk about it in a couple of weeks. I just love Brad Pitt in this.
I'm excited to watch
cameo,
this.
He plays something completely different.
Yeah.
He adds quirk, but there's a scene in it where he gets really deep and he's like just going at these guys that he's helping to earn some money, and they're celebrating and dancing because they've just made a shitload of money, and he just lays into him and he's like, why are you dancing? Because we've just made 20 million or whatever. He's like, people are going to fucking people will kill themselves, people are going to lose their houses, kids are going to starve, and you're fucking dancing. And he just goes off on one, but the whole way through it is so monotone, and you're like, oh god, such a great but we'll talk about that in a couple of weeks when we get to it then. I'd love to do an Adam McKay episode, because his films are fucking unreal.
Yeah, sounds good.
So next for me, I don't know if there's anything for you, is Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
Yeah, I mean, we're jumping quite a bit because Big Short's 2015, and then, we've got Allied 2016. I've never seen it. War Machine, never seen it. 2017. Cameo in Deadpool 2. But then, it jumps to 2019 and Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
At this stage of his career, he can just pick and choose what he wants.
Oh, yeah.
Can't he? He is doing.
He is doing, but it's still a Tarantino film, and it's a massive cast. Leonardo DiCaprio, Brad Pitt, Margot Robbie.
Yes, please.
Name a bigger, lineup of three than that.
Oh, God, yes.
And It's an interesting film because it's probably not one of Tarantino's best, but Tarantino he does great films.
Rewriting history again.
Yeah, so it's another one where it's set at the end of the 60s, isn't it? 1969. It's a fictional retelling of the Charles Manson murders, isn't it? And all about Sharon Tate. So Leonardo DiCaprio and Brad Pitt play two fictional characters set in the real world, don't they? So they play what's Brad Pitt's? Rick Dalton.
Rick Dalton,
and Brad Pitt plays his stunt. Rick Dalton's like a TV star from the 50s, isn't he?
Who everyone loves.
Who everyone loved in the 50s, but he's a bit of a washed up has-been now. So he's sort of like he's like guest appearances on TV shows and stuff, isn't he? And Brad Pitt plays his stuntman, Cliff Booth.
He's kind of like his PA as well, isn't he?
Yeah, he's like his general dog's body, isn't he? He's like his assistant. He does everything for him, drives him everywhere, fixes his house, but tries to do some stunt work as well. And then Margot Robbie plays the realistic Sharon Tate. But again, it's another one that this one's got more cameos from probably real people because it's like got Bruce Lee in there and stuff. But again, like you get in any Tarantino film, insane cast, even in small roles. So Al Pacino, Timothy Olyphant, Kurt Russell, massive, massive stars all turn up in weird films, weird roles. But for me, this film felt like a love letter to the golden age of Hollywood from Tarantino, because it's a long film. It's like 2 hours 40.
Oh, it is.
And there's a lot of shots of just like, I don't know, like Margot Robbie's just walking down the street, or Brad Pitt's just driving through the streets, and it's all lit up like what old Hollywood being, got all the signs and the glamour and the glitz, and the music's playing from the 60s and stuff. So I was like, there's a lot of like sort of self-gratifying scenes in there that could easily have been taken out to quicken the pace up, to make it a shorter, sharper film. But obviously Tarantino can do what the hell he wants at this stage in career, and with that cast,
and we will all go see it.
So again, there's lots of tense scenes. Not a lot of action, but when there is action, it goes off and it's fucking brutal.
So have you watched this recently?
Yeah.
Did you go to cinema to see it?
No, I missed this.
So, right before the action scene at the end.
Yeah.
So I rewatched it recently. Does a narrator say, "And now for the part you're waiting for"?
I don't remember that now.
I don't think it is. So in the cinema, because that's like a bit of a piss take of itself. Of you come here for this. This is what you're here to watch. Right before the drug-fueled fight at the end, a narrator came on at the cinema over it and just went, "And now for the part you've all been waiting for." And then it all went to shit.
I've definitely never heard that.
Yeah, so
I've watched it 2 or 3 times.
Yeah, they must have taken it out then. But when I saw it at the cinema, it said that. And I was like, that's so clever how it's kind of like, this is what you're all here to see.
Yeah.
Up until now, I've just given you bits and bobs and what I want you to see.
Yeah.
Now this is what you want to see.
Yeah.
And then it kicks off to the bit. If you haven't seen the film, go watch it. You'll know what we're talking about if you have seen the film. But
what's your take on this film?
I love it.
Yeah.
I love it. And you're talking about, your favorite part of it is kind of the fact that it's like an homage to the golden age of Hollywood. I felt the same way until I watched the next film that I'm going to mention, Babylon. That does it so much better.
Yeah.
But again, that doesn't take away the fact that this does it brilliantly.
Yeah.
I think the characters are brilliant. Again, Leonardo DiCaprio plays washed up very well.
He played, and it was
an egotistical, washed up actor is what he is.
And he's so good because like in Tarantino films, it has time jumps. It'll flashback, so it'll be flashback to him when he's in his prime, or doing like the adverts and stuff where he's singing, or he's on the like adverts for cigarettes and stuff. Yeah. And he's so good. I mean, like, they're all fantastic, but I think Leo is actually the best, plays it the best in this film.
They are a dynamic duo in this, so aren't they? They play it so well.
Because I don't think they've been in a film together at this stage, Leo and Brad Pitt. Two absolute titans of cinema. Mm-hmm. Like I said, this dynamic duo, budding bromance relationship, which I fucking love.
And you do believe they're best friends.
Yeah.
You believe that they're just in each other's lives.
They're like the two best friends, but they're also like that role of, well, Leo's just one bit higher because he's actually the star and he's just his dog's body. But it's so good. And I mean, I know we're on a Brad Pitt episode, but Brad Pitt is fantastic, and this is an Oscar-winning performance by Mr. Pitt.
It
His
is,
first ever
Acting Oscar.
acting Oscar. Best performance by an actor in a supporting role. And I, controversially, don't think he necessarily deserved it in this one. I think he's played much, much better parts before and not won.
As side characters.
Yeah, in supporting roles. Like, you think of One Punch Mickey.
Mm-hmm.
I think
I
think his acting is better.
Tyler Durden, yeah.
Tyler Durden, I mean, he could be put down as the lead, but I don't think he is because Edward
No, he's
Norton's
not.
the
Edward
lead.
Norton's the lead.
I would say it was Tyler Durden. Even like 12 Monkeys.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, they're the ones where he did get nominated and stuff, or not even, just completely overlooked. I'm not saying that he's not good in this.
He's brilliant in this.
But
do you think this is just a typical Oscar thing of course it's going to go to someone for Tarantino?
Maybe.
Because
I don't know if it's a little bit as well, like, oh, Brad Pitt, he's missed out so many times. He's been, he was nominated like, 26 years ago or something. He's still not won, and it's probably about time. He's paid his dues. He deserves one.
There's definitely, I mean, as we said during the Oscars last year, like, there's always controversy behind everything. There's always, we're in a bit more of, I don't like to use the word woke, we're in a bit more of a woke world now where you kind of know if there's like a foreign sort of mainstream film that's going to do well, and I'm not going to use last year as an example because them films were absolutely fantastic, but we kind of hit that age now. But Tarantino's always been on that. If Tarantino's doing one, it's going to get an Oscar nod somewhere. But I can't remember where I was going with that.
We're just talking about whether is he just got one because Tarantino needed Oscar noms, and I don't know.
Yeah.
Hey, Brad Pitt is great, and I don't want to take anything away from him, but I just think I was shocked. Out of all the films we've talked about, that's the one he wins an acting award for.
Yeah, I guess so, but
and I guess a lot of time, like any competition, it'll come down to who you're up against at the time.
Who you're up against at the time.
And I couldn't tell you who else he was up against, but
that's the point I was going to make. That I'd absolutely fuck all to do with Brad Pitt. For example, and I'll never ever get over this, Toy Story winning the Oscar over across Into the Spider-Verse. Again, it's a Disney film, so it's going to get the nods, it's going to get the win. And I think Tarantino sits comfortably in that seat.
Yeah, true. Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And just the way Disney does and stuff.
Yeah. But I do love Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. I think it's
Fantastic
a long film. It's definitely worth a watch and then a rewatch, because I thought it was all right first time I watched it. I guess I didn't know what to expect. Second time, loved it. Third time, loved it even more. So one of them, it's a grower as a film.
Definitely.
Should we move on?
We'll move on. Next for me is Bullet Train.
Oh, Bullet Train.
On the list.
mean, we've talked about this quite a lot, haven't we?
We have. So we've not got... we're at an hour. So actually, the next two films we spoke about anyway.
Yeah, exactly. But Bullet Train, that is a stereotypical, like you said, Brad Pitt having fun now.
He can do what he wants.
He do what he wants. He's won a couple of Oscars. He doesn't have anything to prove.
No.
He's been in the game 30 years now. Like, he is one of the biggest, one of the best. He can have fun. And this film is one of the most... one of the films I've enjoyed the most out of the last couple of years.
I agree.
It would probably be in my top 10 films, top 5 maybe, that have come out in the last couple of years.
Yeah.
Like, I just
totally
fucking love it. Like, I love that sort of film. It's silly action film, unbelievable cast again.
Unreal cast, yeah.
It's fun, it's stupid, it's over the top. Brad Pitt's great in
Aaron
it.
Taylor
Johnson probably steals the show. Hiroyuki Sanada, my boy.
Your boy.
My fucking boy. Yeah, so much fun. I could watch this film again and again and again.
Oh, 100%. I think that's where I am with this film is I would put this on right now and tomorrow. I'd put this film on if I'm in a silly mood, if I'm in a sad mood, if I'm in an angry mood. It will make me feel good. And if I'm feeling good, it will just add to that pleasure. Totally
agree. And I think, like, you look at the user reviews, like, critically, it only got, 49 out of 100. So not great, very mixed. But user reviews, 7.3, which is a good, solid film. So that tells me the critics have gone, oh no, it's not very good. But average Joe's gone, fucking love that film.
Exactly, because that's not what critics aren't looking for a good, fun film, are
No,
they?
yeah.
They're looking at so many other things that we don't give a shit about. And actually, sometimes what we want is just bollocks.
And we
this
want
is
the
what we
fun.
got.
Yeah.
Fun bollocks.
Absolutely.
Cracking characters, the whole Thomas thing.
Yeah.
Everything about it is just
I
amazing. All the
love
characters are great. Everyone plays a part perfectly. And Brad Pitt is just so much fun.
Yeah.
And Sandra Bullock.
Yeah. Totally agree.
I was discussing that. I might do a Sandra Bullock episode soon.
Yeah. I
Just
don't know if I've actually watched that many of
I
her
like
films.
I like a bit of Sandy B. I do.
I think everyone does.
Yeah. Lovely looking lady as well. And then the last one, which we're not going to go into, is Babylon, which obviously, if you're new to the podcast or you've missed out on the last few, go back and listen to the sort of Christmas, New Year's episodes, because that was my film of the year.
Yeah.
Just an homage to the golden age of Hollywood. Brad Pitt, Margot Robbie, just being unreal. The acting is unreal. The film is unreal. Long film, it was 3 hours 40 or something.
Something
3.5 hours. But
3 hours 9.
3 hours 9. It was, for me, the best film of last year.
I really want to watch it, and I will watch it. Yeah.
That's it.
We've done it.
We've done it.
We've done Brad Pitt.
We have done Brad Pitt.
As a fucking... so many incredible films. So many incredible performances as well. Like, even like if he's not that main character, like we've talked about, like True Romance or 12 Years a Slave, where he's literally like a cameo, but he's still great.
Yeah. Oh God. Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. Again, even if he's a cameo, he's putting his all into it. Or if he's not putting his all into it, it's because he's playing like a stoner, silly character that you're just like, you're doing everything by doing nothing.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that's what this guy can pull off.
And there's so much variety there that we talked about.
We were going to do a top 5 list for film and performance, but we're like over 2 hours in now, so we should probably not.
Yeah, I don't think I could.
I mean, I got my list, but it could change. It's probably changed now. I've changed it already from what I originally wrote, and I will probably change it again now because I wrote this earlier today.
If
now
you were just to do it without
it,
even think about it, if we just shout them out 5 answers,
which one to go first?
Just go for
performance.
I think we just put the two together, which is even harder. Top 5 Brad Pitt films. Go.
Fight Club.
Yeah.
7.
Yeah.
Snatch.
Yeah.
Glorious Bastards.
Right.
Bullet Train.
Oh, nice. Fight Club. Snatch.
Yeah.
Interview with a Vampire.
Nice.
I'm panicking now. Troy, maybe. I'm missing 7.
Peace.